What's up, y'all? You what?
Like we never left.
Like we never left. We're back in it. Well, guys, I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. I feel like every time I get to spend a day with you guys is something special. And when Austin sent me this song, I was like really connecting to it. So I'm really excited to kind of jump in. And I wanted to ask just, you know, how this kind of song came to be, and what was the process for you guys when you made it? Where were you?
Where were we for this one? I'm trying to remember. I think we were at your house.
We were
right?
in my crib, and it was definitely the first time like me, Saul, and Soran ever worked together.
Yeah.
And man, I think Saul just had like a beat or like a rough template of a beat, and it was like we might have been waiting for like a Postmates or something, and we had like 30 minutes to kill. So we were like, oh, let's just work on this for a second. And then we worked on it for a second and then bounced it and then didn't listen to it. And then you said you loved it, and it just came back into the light.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like a random moment of the day when you're making a bunch of ideas, and then you turn back and look after the day and you're like, oh, we actually caught a super slap without even realizing, you know?
Yeah. No, this one clearly was effortless because it's so minimal. Like there's like very little parts, but it just like the groove is there. The vocals are really interesting. I think Soran sounds super cool. Like I think the vocals stuck out to me the most as being like, wow, this is unique. Like, cause y'all have y'all sauce, and then on top of the vocals, it just like, I hear y'all's music a lot in different ways with different artists, and I love like y'all's groove and instrumentation, and then to hear it with Soran on it was really special.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I think that's what stuck out to me is like that kind of combo. It feels like a different type of record.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he kind of just like, what's the word? Like flow state vocal. You know what I mean? Like I think he wrote it in 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever.
Probably about 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Well, I just wanted to start off today. Maybe we can listen to the rough mix, and then we can probably pop it over to what my template is, so you guys can kind of hear where we're starting off from. I think that might be super helpful, and we can kind of dive in.
Sick.
Is your mix bus on your template?
Yeah. So like kind of the way I prep things is like when you send me the files, I really just color code, name them, and make it look pretty, and also kind of like put things linearly so that when I'm looking at it, it just looks really pretty. So that like I'm not, oh, where's that bass part? Where's that synth? It's just like we can diagnose that real quick and find it.
It does look pretty. That could be like a picture on the wall and not even your screen, you know?
Yeah, man.
That'd be tight. Like if you mix out a song for an artist and you just like gift them like a picture of the Pro Tools session.
Like a framed photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Just food for thought, you know?
Well, let's tap in. Let's hear it for a second and see where we're at.
See
Yeah.
Nice.
It's beautiful.
Let me just go on the record and say this is like my favorite sounding room in LA for sure.
Yeah, this shit sounds great.
The room is extraordinary.
It's so good.
I tend to agree. It's like the low end, especially back on that back sofa, you can really, like, it's flowing through you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you hear the difference between the kick and the bass, and like when the bass goes up, and it just, you feel it.
Yeah. Even at a low volume, like everything is like just aux into the brain. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that's the rough mix. I think let's listen down and you can kind of see what it sounds like going through my template. And honestly, for this one, like my process is kind of like getting the stems at the similar level as the rough mix and kind of maybe just slightly different. But this one is very similar, so it shouldn't be a big thing because I wanted, like, everything feels so good. I think like the levels of everything are already grooving so hard. Like, why change that? I think what we're going to be doing is like adding dimension into the mix and maybe like adding some saturation in places where it could use it, or taking out frequencies that are fighting with other instruments. So like when it switches to that chorus, it opens up in a cool way.
Yeah, that'd be tight.
Nice. Especially when the synths come in and like the double chorus at the end. Just like making it just this extra wide and, you know, universal kind of thing.
Yeah, I love how dry the vocals are. Yeah. I think that like that's we should keep that and maybe have moments of like little delays, or we can have some ear candy come in through, but like keep it pretty locked because the groove is really important. I think that dry vocal with everything going is like giving it that feel.
Yeah, there's something about the dryness of it all, like working together, that just is like feels great in here.
It's like a vacuum. This
Yeah,
song, you know what I mean? It's literally
yes.
like there's no air in this song until you intentionally put it in there. You know what I mean? The verses are vacuum sealed, and I love that sound. And like accentuating that would be
that little keys moment, like that comes in, I think in the second verse. Whoop, like we could do some cool shit where it throws happen there or something. But this is one of those songs where it's like we can pick our moments and less is more.
Definitely. I think there's like two little melodyne moments that I think now that I'm hearing it and here with everything, it definitely like stood out to me, that very small and minor, but worth looking into.
Nice. I'm gonna listen, pay attention this time around to like the separation between the lead vocal and then everything else, and kind of like, since I'm hearing it kind of for the first time in a real room, like dissecting it and seeing what we want to do, if we keep those as one or kind of add some more dimension.
I think the intention overall, just in the way that they're arranged and what voices go where, is kind of like having it be like in the verses, the main vocal is like right here, and then there's just hard panned falsetto doubles, and there's no double of the main vocal in the verse, and then there's doubles of the main vocal in the hooks. So, yeah. The only doubles in the verse are falsetto doubles that are like hard panned either side. So that's like a really interesting thing to like play with. It's like main vocal and then these like falsettos that super staccato stick to them, you know?
Hell yeah. Well, let's listen through.
Let's see what that template's saying, dude.
Let's check it out.
Right now
like that little vocal chop at the end too.
Mm-hmm.
We could maybe accentuate that a bit.
Give it some space.
I think like when I was hearing the outro, like it becomes really minimal and we can make it a little bit more dreamy,
Yeah.
floaty,
Yeah.
add some atmospheres because it's like there's just kind of 2 or 3 things going on, but maybe adding some depth to like make you want to click that repeat, be like, I just got to keep that song going again. You know what I mean?
It's that type of joint that you need to like run back a few times, short and sweet, you know?
What's the runtime? It's like 2.
It is 220, a little less than 220. So quick song, honestly, but really, really good.
Fitting for the modern age.
Yeah, I wish Soran could be with us today, but I'm honestly stoked that this is our we get to feel him in the room. Like I feel like he's here. You know what I mean? Austin, you've told me amazing things about him and how like sweet of a guy he is. So
He would be stoked to be here if he didn't have to come from a different country, no doubt.
sending love to Montreal. You just got back from Korea, right, man?
That's right. 안녕하세요.
How is Korea?
It's beautiful out there, dude. Very clean, very nice. All the people are put together and stuff. It made me feel like I need to get my shit together almost, Everyone walking around seems like a smart, intelligent person and stuff. It's cool.
So cool. I felt similarly about Japan. I was in Japan in December, and it was just such a culture shock between like here and there, and how organized everything is, and how polite everyone is, and it was just so much to take away. I'm still like processing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're feeling that as well.
We were in the regular one, and it was one of those deal with it at the counter situations, which normally, like, if you were doing that here, they would be giving you so much slack, like whoever was working at the counter, and it would just be, like, a nightmare.
Yeah.
But the lady working the counter was so, like, nice and helpful, and it was just, like, it was shocking, really, to be, like, not, like, my fight or flight was ready to go, but it was totally not even needed.
It was effortless.
Yeah, it was effortless.
I love it. Well, for this one, I kind of feel like I want to jump into the groove, and I'm going to mute the vocals and just build it from the ground up.
Fire.
Nice.
Maybe add some space and like feel free to chime in on things that you guys are feeling like, oh, we should address that.
For sure. I feel like the things you kind of nailed, like what needs to happen already. Like you have the right idea.
Hell yeah.
Like the verse is cool how it's all like pretty dried out, and then like the chorus, that's really where you can mix in like a little lift, so we really feel like we've gone to another place when that comes in.
Yeah, I think it's important to differentiate because despite like the takes being different, like the vocal take, like I'm sure Soran probably did like 2 hooks, you know what I mean? And then one of the hooks was maybe a flyover out of the 3 hooks. But the first verse or the first hook, it comes in with the hook, and then, we get the verse and then we get the hook again. Those 2 hooks are pretty like identical feeling. So like making that second hook kind of have like saturation.
Those synths that come in like really lifted a different element to me.
Yeah.
Like a different harmonic space.
But even the section before that, like right when the hook starts and there's no synths before the double hook, like just making those like everything feels like it just got like tightened up. You know what I mean?
Sick.
Do you ever do certain like turn up the master or like the level of the whole track on the chorus and then turn it down, or how do you like?
I actually do that sometimes. I did that in a mix last week. I do that when like you have a lot of headroom built in. So like, a lot of people have limiting slammed, and if you're just gaining up and hitting harder into a limiter, it just kind of crunches things. So I do it on mixes that are like open, and I actually have like a dB or 2 of like making it bigger.
Some loofs.
Yeah. But I do it like rarely because I feel like I try to create the apparent loudness in my mixes like with other things like saturation. So like if I need to make it feel bigger, I need to make those instruments have more textures in certain areas, and then it just feels bigger. So like instead of doing a lot of gain things, like I'm really thinking about like sonically what's being lifted so that like it has that change, but you don't have to do a ton of automation to make it happen. And a lot of the times I like duplicate, a certain guitar part or a vocal or whatever, and I'll process them differently per each section so that like you can really tell that something else happened. And maybe you don't even feel it, but you don't even hear it, but you feel it, you know? It's like, oh, that thing is sticking out more. It's grouping harder now.
Sick.
So I do a lot of that. That's like a big part of my process. I like to like cut up things, duplicate them, make sure like each section kind of has its flow, and things like naturally progress. But when one works, I'll automate like levels up and down, like the old school console, almost like a console fader move.
In your Glenn Johns era.
Yeah. I mean, I do that sometimes.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool, dude.
Let's go.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna mute the vocals group for right now.
I'm crushing some ice too, so don't mind my ASMR back here.
We need that.
I'm an ice guy, man.
Just wanted to add that knock to the kick a little bit.
What range are you getting there?
That's like, I guess 1200.
Okay.
Really cool. Get the lead vocal in there because it's such a minimal song.
Yeah.
You kind of got to feel it, you know? It's funny.
I know
this De-Esser going a little bit.
What De-Esser is that?
This is the Weiss De-Esser
Weiss.
by Soft Tube. Yeah, really, really clean. I love it.
25 minutes, be alright, alright. Don't make me see right now, no, this is not the time or place. No, Eddie holding it together, I just need some space. Yeah, I know.
You can really hear it right here.
Don't make me see right now, no, this is not the time or place. No, Eddie holding it. Don't make me see right now, no, this is not the time or place. No, Eddie holding it together, I just need some space. Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, I know. I got my own shit to figure out, baby, by the way. I can't read it out your lips if it's something you don't say. But you know. Yeah. Oh, you know. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, be alright. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Don't make me see right now, no, this is not the time or place. No, Eddie holding it together, I just need some space. Yeah, I know. I got my own shit to figure out, baby, by the way. I can't read it out your lips if it's something you don't say. But you know.
Yeah, so I'm just like getting to know the different spaces, feeling them out, and like I'm like feeling the things that I want to do. So like I want to bring those drums and the bass and glue them kind of together. So I'm going to create a bus where the drums are all one. And usually this is John's template because I've learned a lot from John, and I love the way how he like routes things. But sometimes I like take the kick and the drum group and I make a whole drum group so I can actually glue those together in a cool way and like compress them. And then now I can hear it with the bass like perfectly.
Nice.
Okay, tight.
Yeah, this just one thing that I've just like am kind of realizing about the ideal set of this mix is just like everything sounds like it's the same volume. You know what I mean? Like I would love for like the kick, snare, and vocal to all sound like they're together and not like a vocal sitting on top of anything. I think that's really important for like the effectiveness of this like vocal is that like everything just sounds like one same volume. You know what I mean?
Yes. I love that.
It's sounding bussing right
Yeah.
now.
Any feelings like just off rip now that like I'm soloing things and you can kind of hear them differently?
Bussing.
Sounds really good. There's some things in the vocal, like I think the tune we have on there and is hitting the chorus, the all night, like, because it's kind of like does this roll through the notes that the tune might be like affecting a little.
Whenever you can keep doing whatever you're doing,
that seems like we haven't even crossed that bridge.
And it's
yet.
such a tiny little take, 20 seconds to just like
Melodyne those kind of parts. Oh,
there's one all right, and then there's just like a slight smoothing of 2 notes in the second half of the verse.
Beautiful.
Super fucking simple.
I think we could add some dimension to that guitar, like that kind of just space that's sitting way back. Like I don't know if y'all felt that.
I was about to say the guitar could feel like it has more like body, almost like there's like a crossover period between the bass and the guitar. So it's like the guitar is literally this like fat cushion sitting in between. Like,
because they're playing the same rhythms, right?
yeah, no, the guitar 1 and 2 I think is just guitar. Well, it's bass actually that's all played.
I was wondering like if you meant like the extra guitar at the end or the bass.
No, I don't think I added any extra guitar.
It's the bass that's like a guitar.
Yeah, that's the main thing, but it's just 2 of the same track, 1 up an octave, 1 down.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And there's like those like sort of like like background and shit. You could probably like have some fun with that at the end, like panning them a bit or some shit, you know.
Yeah. Make a moment. Yeah.
Whatever.
Dope. All right, I'm gonna start getting this drum group going real quick.
25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. 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 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. 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 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. 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 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. 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 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night.
Yeah. See, now to me, like now that the drums have that like sparkly high end that separates from the vocal, so like the vocal has this present in the mid range, and we can kind of like make the drums groove harder with that.
Nice.
Crazy.
Just listen to the hi-hats now. Even at a low level, we're getting that separation.
Can you like just because I'm like curious to hear it, like A/B it without it, like just so we can like appreciate the beauty of the changes
Of the high end?
Yeah.
Yeah, like just I'm like it's like if I zone out for like 1 second, then I like forget like where we even were, you know.
Yeah. I'll just like turn it off for a second so you can kind of hear it. Without it. So I wanted to feel that rhythm a little bit more and make those like those upbeats, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's a really huge part of the groove. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. Y'all hear that little decay in the guitar? It's kind of cool. I want to bring up this guy and see what this one sounds like. Yeah, that upper range is really beautiful.
You read my mind.
Yeah, more kick.
You read my mind.
More kick?
Yeah, that's literally what it's, yeah.
Now we got the bass like kind of glued in, and the kick's kind of falling apart because it's louder.
Don't make me see it right now, no, this is not the time or place. No, really holding it together, I just need some space. Yeah, I know, no, I know. I got my own shit to figure out, baby, by the way. I can't be without you, baby. You don't say, but you know. Yeah. Oh, you know. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, be alright. Alright. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, be alright. Alright.
Pretty crazy. So
The same brand.
Yeah.
I added this like little distortion on the vocal.
Nice.
And I think it's gonna pop out a lot more. So like check out the difference real quick.
Was that the Weiss thing that you had?
No, it's just lo-fi from Pro Tools.
Damn.
And it has this like, it's pretty intense, like 0.1, it does a lot. Like, but now like if you just listen to the lead vocal, like
25 minutes,
Without
but
it?
I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, be alright.
it just lets them cut through a little bit more.
Nice.
And then it adds a lot of level, so I turned it down back to like match.
Cool.
But I really like that effect.
25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 20 be alright. Alright. Don't make me see it right now, no, this is not the time or place.
I'm gonna group these vocals separately so we can start processing them like individually,
Cool.
The Aki way.
the Aki way. How you guys feeling?
Chilling.
Enjoying the process, man.
It's cool to see for sure.
Learning something new every day.
Any thoughts, Saul? I know you've been your own. You were talking about doing your own mixes and stuff. Like what you've been thinking about these days and playing with?
Mix-wise and stuff?
Yeah.
Man, well, I'll say what I wasn't thinking about that now I'm starting to is all this bussing stuff. Like the only buses I had really done were like a lot more colorful, like the wet stuff and like, you know, like distortion buses and stuff and acid effects or whatever. But I see you doing a lot of just sort of like EQing the buses and stuff, which has been insightful to me as well. And you're adding a lot of frequencies versus like usually I always just like lay shit in and like have to like subtract all the shit that's like piercing my ears. But there doesn't seem to be that much, I guess. This
This mix has a lot of headroom. some things I get that are just like slammed, and I get these roughs that are just like really in your face and loud and feel good, but it's like literally distorted and sometimes like heavily clipped, right?
Yeah.
So like all of that feeling and emotions coming from that and recreating that in a mix that's dynamic is really challenging. It's like the whole job. But I like, my favorite type of mixes is when it's like this, where it has a bunch of headroom, and like additive is actually the fun part, you know? It's not like problem solving. Like I don't feel like there's anything wrong with this mix per se, you know what I mean? Like the rough already feels amazing. So it's kind of a privilege to have additive stuff.
Right.
And I think that like, honestly, like the more homies I really work with, like even Austin on a deeper level, like when things are quieter and we then mix, it's like the process just becomes so much more like, instead of like going backwards and trying to recreate things that were made way too loud for whatever reason to please people in the room, just turn up the level, and we can do that type of stuff in the mix, where it's like we're adding the emotion that we really are feeling like after things are finished.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
I think like you can totally second guess yourself, which makes sense. Like when you're just feeling it and you're like, let's go crazy.
Right. I definitely like fall victim to that, like trying to leave the session with like the bounce sounding like as loud as possible and stuff, so that like the artist or whomever can like trick themselves into liking it even more, because they're like, sometimes loudness is like a cheat code for like the untrained ear, you know, of just like, oh, it's loud, so it's good.
It's just energy.
Yeah. The way that I've started doing that though is like cooking. I'll turn up my speakers as loud as they go, and then I'll just cook to that volume. Like if I want to make it loud, like my speakers are already cranked, and I don't know if this is like correct or anything, but this is what I do when I make music now. It's working for me, and I'm not going to fix it. Well, yeah, I turn it down to where if I play Spotify or Apple or something where it's like loud, and then I'll just kind of like, I won't try to fully get there, but in the mix bus, I get to like, my master chain, I get to like do work on that and like add mad frequency and stuff and like level and limit and go crazy without like worrying that like a dB on my limiter is going to make everything start clipping. You know what I mean?
But I mean, it's a really good point, Saul. Like I would say 8 out of 10 mixes, I'm not doing this type of stuff.
Right.
It's actually, things are already coming in pretty hot. The rough mix is like so crazy good for what they want. You know, it's, everything's good as subjective. It could be, you know, not my thing, but I understand what their intention is, and I just want to make it better. So like with this, I feel like we have really cool headroom to just like build.
Yeah.
And play and like make something special. And if we end up like, you know, after today being like, hey, let's dial this back, we overcooked this, like that's an easy edit. But I'd much rather have that than like recreating something to kind of get the apparent loudness of a rough mix that's just heavily distorted.
Yeah.
And I think that like when you're mixing stuff or like cooking up, like you're probably getting shit that's really baked in pretty hot. And so you're probably like, what are those frequencies, you know? Like, but I think that's the beauty of it. When you think about the process and you know where it's going to go, I think it's in the power of producers specifically to be like, hey, let's double check ourselves. Like, let's just turn up the volume. Yeah. This is feeling fucking crazy. We don't need to add all that stuff.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like I got addicted to the sound of things clipping, and then realized I could get the sound of things clipping without clipping anything. You know what I mean? Like I can get the clip sounds that I loved better and more like ergonomical in a way to like actually like preserve the overall loudness of the track. Like tape I remember the day.
I think specifically for you guys too, like as instrumentalists, like y'all are crazy instrumentalists. Like your instruments and your voice, like if that's your voice, you know what I mean? Like when I hear Austin, I'm like, that's Austin. Like when I hear you play, I'm like, damn, like Saul's out there crushing. I think your voice sounds better when you protect it that way. And things just end up translating way faster. And like, it's kind of what I realized doing more mixes is like the less is more approach. And like people talk about it, but like if you can really practice that, it's beautiful because then you're really just focusing on what was naturally there.
Yeah,
Totally.
It's so sick. But I mean, some of my sessions, y'all open up and I would be embarrassed because there's so much crazy shit going on, you know what I mean? So there's no right way. Like it constantly changes, but I think today I'm just feeling this and I'm like, these are the things that poke out to me. but it could change later, you know, in a little bit. But let's dive back in. I'm gonna get these vocals these doubles sitting in a little nice place. There's so little elements to this track that I want to play for a little bit, and we can dial things back.
That's how you land on the fire shit.
Yeah, and I also think it might inspire you guys to hear things differently, and we can be like, hey, that was really cool, or maybe that's way too much.
Nice.
So I'm gonna push things a little further and see how that feels with you guys.
All right, let's poke the bear.
25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright. Don't make me see right now, no, this is not the time or place. No, Eddie holding it together, I just need some space. Yeah, I know. I know. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way, I can't be without your lips if it's something you don't say. But you know. Yeah. Oh, you know. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a
So that's
second,
rough mix.
acting uptight.
That's us.
25 minutes, it'll
Rough.
be alright. Alright.
The vocals
Don't make it seem
in the
right
back,
This is not
now they're
the
kind of
time
popping
or
out.
place. No, Eddie holding it together, I just need some space. Yeah, I know.
Vocals add a lot of groove. It's like percussive shit.
I know.
And he's so tight, like, and dry.
Got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way,
So I think because he's so tight and dry, like, his voice is adding a lot of rhythm. And I think that, like, that's why you can make it bigger and it feels like really
Your
cool.
mix is like peeling the film off a new iPhone right now.
And like, I honestly want to do very little to the song. Like, I'm taking my time and not like working fast because I'm just feeling it out.
Well, that's you're keeping up with the trend because this song was very flow state creation and also like so minimal. You know what I mean? Like this is out of all the songs that I've worked on the past couple of years, this probably has like the least amount of stems.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You don't even scroll. You're not even scrolling, really.
I'm not even scrolling, yeah. That's why I'm taking my time. I'm just listening and being like, this is the doubles, okay, falsettos, like just blending little things but not going too crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm loving how.
But do you see when I A/B, it's like we're back and now it's like actually listening to those vocals.
I'm really digging where like the drums and bass are sitting too. And
cool. Simple stuff, honestly. But yeah, just keep it easy. In the words of Linus, do easy. Do easy. All right, let's tap back in.
This is like strolling through a park. Like we're not. It's like sometimes you're like working out, like in running, but this is literally like a stroll, and you're just like.
25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright. Don't make it seem right now, no, this is not the time or place. No, Eddie holding it together, I just need some space. Yeah, I know. I know. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way, I can't be without your lips if it's something you don't say. But you know. Yeah.
I was gonna add stuff to the falsettos, and then I like added it. It's just like too much. It's like they're already good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel you.
It's cool. I want to hear these synths though, and bring up a few of these moments, like.
I know. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way, I can't be. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way, I can't be out your lips if it's something you don't say. But you know. Yeah. Oh, you know.
I think we do some throws like that. You know.
Yeah, it'd be tight. Almost in that one spot though, when he hits this little or whatever that thing is, I don't even know if there is anything playing, but it could be tight to just like cut everything but that.
And have it dry.
So it's this little like dry, and then boom, everything's back in.
That.
Yeah.
That's pretty
like
sick.
bring that out right before the chorus, and then it'll feel like a nice impact when everything comes back or whatever.
For sure.
Hell yeah.
I want to add some delays here in specific words.
Don't make a scene right now, no, this is not the time or place. No, really holding it together, I just need some space. Yeah, I know. No, I know. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way, I can't be out your lips if it's out, baby. By the way, I can't be out your lips if it's something you don't say. But you know. To figure out, baby. By the way, I can't be out your lips if it's something you don't say. But you know. Yeah. Oh, you know.
I'm going to try just, this is a little much, but. Could be cool to have and then to cut it. You know what I mean? But these, Austin, we just added some delays in.
Got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way, I can't be out your lips if it's something you don't say. But you know. Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe instead of a delay, it could be more of like a reverb throw.
A reverb
Just because
thing?
the note themselves are so staccato, they're not super like there's a melody there, but it's not super like melody driven.
You want to add some like tails to the end of the phrase kind of vibe?
Maybe on the say, or maybe even it just gets wider. I don't even know if like a time-based effect
Okay.
would be, because I love the vacuum seal.
Just the
of it.
vacuum.
You know
All right,
what
let's
I mean?
keep it
Like,
dry.
but like a widening of like the say or something that like is an extra feeling to it, or a flange or a micro shift or whatever it is that could
Micro shift or flange could be cool.
be really interesting to like automate for that
Or even a
say.
phaser.
Love a phase.
Yeah, a
flange.
phase would be sick. But like time-based effects, I feel like would take away from that like suction.
Cool. Let's just not do that then. I'll get rid of that.
It sounded sick though. I just think the purpose of that staccato-ness is to keep it rigid.
For sure. All right. I'm gonna try just some of my reverbs just for a sec for like particular sections, maybe for the chorus. Not the first chorus, but just in general.
25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright. Don't make a scene right now, no, this is not the time or place. No, really holding it together, I just need some space. Yeah, I know. No, I know.
Obviously, it wouldn't be in the verse, but I'm just hearing it.
25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a
just adding some depth.
25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second.
I think that's nice on the hook, yeah.
On the hook, yeah.
Because then when it vacuum seals, it feels like extra sealed.
Right, and really the verse is the time where the vacuum time, you know?
Yeah, vacuum. I love hearing that.
That's when we're passing the vacuum.
I'm just gonna automate this just for the hooks real quick, and we'll just have it down here. And I'll do it for the Megaverb as well. It's cool though. I love the song.
Yes, sir, ski.
You're crushing. You're bodying right now.
It's funny. I feel like it's just, yeah. It's such a sick song. I want to do less, you know. And sometimes like, you just don't have to do much other than like making shit have their own space, EQ wise. And like this one seems pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's not a flex mix.
Yeah. But that's the flex in it. Is that like if you can identify a mix that doesn't have to be like a buster, and then mix it accordingly, that's the flex. You know what I mean? Like not over mixing is the, like, you know, that's why your mixes always impress me, is because they're like invisible mixes. They just sound how the song's supposed to sound. You know what I mean? So like that's what we're getting here.
That's honestly like, I think that like when I watch John mix, that's the way I feel. And for you to say that, it feels really good, but it's just like, that's what a good mix is, you know? Like, I think everybody can compare to whoever, you know, everybody has a subjective thing, but like, for me, it's like, we definitely align on this when it's just, I'm hearing the song.
Yeah.
And I'm not thinking about anything else, like I'm in that world.
The mix has the ability to make the song more captivating by presenting the song in its clearest form, you know what I mean? And that's like why I gravitate towards your mixes and John's mixes, is like, you know, you just hear the record and then you're just like, Jesus, by the end of it, you're like, the mix was ridiculous. I didn't notice anything. You know what I mean? Like, there's no like high-end screaming in the vocal that you're like, wow, that vocal is really like clear. But it's like almost not, you know what I mean? You say it's clear, but it's just really present. You know what I mean? Like too present.
No, it sounds like a wood room with like natural light, you know?
It's like an Adele mix. I don't know who the...
That's Tom Elmhurst.
Yeah, I mean, like, those songs just, like, happen to you, and they're just, like, it doesn't even sound like they were mixed. It sounds like you're just, like, listening to the sound.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
So far.
I want to do a little bit more and then take a little break, if that's cool with you guys. Honestly, like, when I'm mixing at my spot at home, I tend to get in the flow state here and kind of go crazy because it's a new environment and I get really excited and it sounds insane on the PMCs. But I usually take like a bunch of breaks like at home, like to keep just like, oh, we did too much, or, you know, I need to dial this back.
For mixing, I find that super important. Yeah. I'm not like a mixer myself necessarily, but like whenever I am like trying to just get like a better sounding mix of a bounce or a demo, I have to like not sit there and listen to it for too long. I
find that the more parts there are in a song, like 300 tracks, like the more breaks I have to take, because I get like, I go into one vibe and then I kind of meld it with another, and it's like building blocks, right? This one is just like, it's already built, so like less, but yeah, it's really fun to, when things are simple, you can just kind of finish it all in one. Like I feel like I could finish this mix in like 15 minutes if I just did it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't need much. But let's tap back in. The bass too much?
No, not too much at all. I was gonna say you got free range to. I love a boomy low end. You know what I mean? Don't be shy when it comes to
the one thing we could try, and Soul, this could be crazy, and you'd be like, no. But I've been playing a lot with
easy sell
with this plugin a lot, and if we go to browse, there's these distortions that I really love, specifically this multiband, and I'm just gonna load this up real quick so we can start playing with it.
For the bass?
Yeah.
I would be super down to experiment with that.
Cool. Because the bass is really clean right now, and I'm wondering if it could be cooler, a little dirtier.
100%. I always get a little hesitant doing that on my own, so I'm glad you brought it up. Just because with the bass, it's so easy to distort and lose that low end.
For sure.
The only way I know how to do it is like put a distortion on, then like pull tech the sub after and just boost it. But
let's see how it feels. It could be way too much.
I mean, we could dial it in. I think distortion on the bass would be a fire call.
So yeah, check this out. Like if you literally just, if we bypass it. This just brings it out a little bit more, which is kind of cool. 100%. But I don't know if y'all want it kind of down and felt and groove heard or more in your face. Like,
I want everything in the face. Okay. It's so like all there.
If we put it all together and it's like doing too much, let's just be like, nah. But I think it's worth trying.
Yeah, definitely.
Sounding good so far.
Cool. Let's reset. What did you say? Whatever just happened, that was feeling right. That was
whatever just happened was crazy.
Yeah, the snare is super punchy.
Cool. Let's.
Subconsciously set it off.
I think what happened is when I added that multipass distortion, it increased the gain of the bass way too much. So I dialed it back down to level match, and now it's like it has the same tone, but just level it where it was.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Everything sounded busting.
I think that sounds cool. I think, that's going to cut through on a phone now. You know what I mean? Like that type of like low mid-range added, like those harmonics.
I love a round bass, but it sucks when you like can't hear it unless you're listening on like a really nice system.
That's where everyone not bumping this podcast is going to be they're just going to be like on their phone like chill.
I really like this.
This is sick. I'm feeling that. I'm going to try with these ghost notes and see what's going on.
25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright, alright. Don't make me see right now, no, this is not the time or place. No, Eddie, hold.
So what does that plugin? Is it transient shaping? Is it?
This one?
Yeah.
This is just a limiter. So like kind of clamping down on the groove with the threshold and then like adjusting the output, like so simple. Like this is simply a fader, but I'm just kind of like decreasing the dynamics to control it and see where it feels right, and then like adjusting the output. Because if you increase that threshold or decrease it, you turn it down, you're gonna fucking increase the level that much. So you always have to like, but that's it. I use things to like, I use that limiter a lot just to like get gain up to where I want it.
And that's, I can't see from back here. It's a Pro Tools limiter or?
It's the Faraday Goodhertz limiter. Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Every time I pull up on you, I have a shopping list when I leave.
Really? Yeah. That's crazy.
Whenever I hear the word Faraday, I always think of Daniel Faraday from Lost. I don't know if you guys watched Lost.
I haven't watched it.
You were gassing it up.
I love Lost.
I don't think it needs to be on every one, but like it could be cool to have some like long tails on the reverb to make space.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe the only one that I hear that on, and it being very slight, is the direct middle of the verse. So the last snare of the first half of the verse.
It's like right when this keys thing happened?
Yeah, it's right before that. The last snare right before that.
No, I know. I got my own shit to
Yeah, let's do that.
Could be cool.
figure out. No, I know.
Yeah, it's that one.
Gee.
I'm just gonna duplicate it and make a little moment. I like that idea a lot. I'm gonna do this black hole reverb is insane.
Black Hole Sun.
It might be way too much, but let's try it.
I know. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way, I can't read it out your lips if it's something. No, I know. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way, I can't read it out your lips. No. I got my own.
It's too much. Let's try this classic.
No. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way, I can't read it out your lips if it's something. No, I know. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way, I can't read it out your lips.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds great. You got it in a great place, man.
Let's go. Y'all down to take a little break real quick?
Let's do it.
Okay. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. See you in a sec. Thanks. And we back from our break.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. We grubbed some Tokaya. We're feeling way more up. It's up and it's stuck, baby. Let's get into this motherfucking mix.
I got my espresso. Let's go.
Got some much needed H2. Austin's off that Saratoga Sparkling.
Sheesh.
Saratoga sparkling water looks crazy.
Shout out Saratoga.
There it is. There it is.
Run Saul that check.
Can't mix without Saratoga. That shit does look really fire, though. I'm not
It
gonna
looks
lie.
really good.
It's
They
dangerous.
kind of went
corner
crazy
store,
with the packaging.
The corner
Yeah.
I fall for the marketing scheme. Whoever's job it is to come up with cool looking bottles is winning every time, because
They
if I'm
got you.
at Whole Foods and I see a nice looking can of something, it's in the cart.
Done.
I need it.
Well, I'm feeling really good about that after this espresso.
Can't wait to see how this mix is sounding. Holy shit.
Let's go.
Holy fuck.
Here we go. Okay.
25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for the begging you to act uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright, alright, yeah. Don't make a scene right now, no, this is not the time or place. No, Eddie holding it together, I just need some space. Yeah, I know.
Woo, that feels good.
I was feeling great.
That's feeling really good. All right, sorry I had it on loop, but
No, it's fine.
let's get back into that verse.
Don't make a scene right now, no, this is not the time or place. No, Eddie holding it together, I just need some space. Yeah, I know. No, I know. I can't be without your lips.
I think it could be cool to have like a little moment where we kind of have some spacey shit happening, like up, like especially after that hit.
Yeah.
But obviously I wouldn't put this on the lead vocal, but check this shit out. Like,
Alright, yeah. Don't make a scene right now, no, this is not the time or place. No, Eddie holding it together, I just need some space. Yeah, I know. No, I know. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way, I can't
Maybe right there.
out your lips. This
I got my own shit to figure
That's
out.
what I was just
and then
thinking, too.
cut at baby.
okay,
own shit to figure out, baby.
let's try that.
Got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way,
Dry shit.
I might do it like just right before, by the way. It
Nice.
says, I got my own shit to figure out.
Yeah.
And then it's gone.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Let's just try some stuff like that.
Ooh.
I don't know why, like after the break, I'm feeling just kind of effects and creating moments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, boss. Slap some of those in, boss.
Let's get it all.
I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way, I know. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way, no. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the
It's pretty crazy.
I love that.
Whatever, it turned into like a little like slap.
Yeah.
no. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the
That's pretty sick.
What if you sent the
Ooh.
drums to that as well? Just
Yeah.
out of curiosity.
Ooh.
So
And then
let's,
it cuts in the same spot on that snare.
Creative mixing.
let's try it. Let's try it on all the drums real quick for just like that
It might
one.
be bonkers. It might be like insanity, but
Bro, that's what we're here for.
no, I know.
It's either gonna be dry.
No, I know. I know. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way,
I can play with it, but that's kind of weird.
try it one more time. I want to come up here.
Yeah. I think here.
Stepping up.
Stepping up to the plate.
no. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way,
So that's a little delay thrown in there.
I got my own shit to figure out.
Cut it on. I love that, but cut it on figure.
Okay.
Yes.
I got my own shit to figure
Or two, on right before two. It's the two figure.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's fucking sick, dude.
Okay.
But cut on, yeah, two figure.
I
And
think
I'll
it.
sit back down.
Yeah. Here we go.
out my own shit to figure out.
It's probably right there.
I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way, I can't
Crazy,
live
bro.
without your lips. If it's something you don't say, but you know, you know.
One more time with
Oh, you
Let's vibe back to the first verse.
alright. Don't make a scene right now. No, this is not the time or place. No, Eddie holding it together. I just need some space. Yeah, I know. No, I know. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way, I can't live without your lips. There's something you don't say, but you
Okay.
Maybe just like a little less present, like just like the mix down a little bit on the delays.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
And
like
then
a
it's
little bit
baller
this
as
way.
fuck. What if we cut it on the snare? So I got my own shit to.
Right there?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I think a quarter note prior.
Let's try that. Oh, there we go. I don't know. Let's go to eighth. I'm gonna try this. Man, I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's fucking sick.
I'm trying to think of like cool things we could do to the vocal for moments like that too. You know what I mean? Like even like a phaser on the vocal,
Yeah.
where it might sound a little bit crazy, but
On the I know would be really cool.
you're thinking on the I know.
Yeah, you.
That stuff right there.
Yeah.
What if
That's-
it was like zero, dry, wet kind of vibe, and then you know, and then
Oh, it kind of built up.
it swells
Yeah.
from the beginning of the U and ends at the no. You know what I mean?
So sick. I just want to go to like,
Very linear.
I'm just gonna go to the factory default again.
Yeah, that shit is really crazy.
That's crazy. Oh, it's this. So I think we have to do a little bit less. Something like. Get this. Let's get some sine wave, a little bit smoother, and yeah,
sick.
something like that, like super subtle.
Yeah.
Little character nebby.
Let's go to add this shit real quick. I'm also not crazy fast with Pro Tools because I worked at Ableton for so long. So for
Oh,
those
for real?
watching, for
You're
those
new to the
watching,
Pro Tools game?
I'm not new to the Pro Tools game, but I'm not like fast with it like I am Ableton.
You were mixing in Ableton?
No, I never mix. I guess I did sometimes mix in Ableton, but just working for Ableton, I was, you know, that was my bag for a long time, and I loved it. And I loved creating in Ableton. So like now I'm mixing. I just use Pro Tools, and like automation things, I still take me a little bit of time.
Do you think Pro Tools versus Ableton like has like innate things of like the way shit sounds that just makes it a little like cleaner, like off rip?
I mean, people always talk about like, oh, this thing sounds like this thing sounds like this, and I think it's true. Like specifically for like FL Studio, like that clipper and things like you can't recreate. I had a mix last week actually. I was doing for Marky Basie, and like it was like this FL Studio vibe, and I had to really work hard to kind of create that same clip feeling that the rough mix was coming out of exported out of FL. And I talked with like the producer for like almost like 30-40 minutes just talking about his process, getting into it, you know what I mean? And like really understanding what are the things he does. And then I was like, oh, like we kind of went down that road of having this conversation. And to me, like, yes, it is important to think about, but like I think whatever software you're inspired by to do your job, use that. So like for me, when I create, Ableton is like the thing where it's like a blank canvas where I'm painting. When I'm mixing, this is where I'm like adding dimension and having finesse control, and I feel like that's Pro Tools, you know, for me. So like that's my canvas when I'm mixing. But I feel like it's a funny conversation, and I don't think I think people take it too seriously. And it's like, dude, do what works for you when you want to, and then like, you know, there's no right way. But for me, like, there are definitely sonic differences, and it's helpful to think about. But when I'm like when it's important to like finishing a mix, I'm not like, oh, this was made here, I need to recreate this here, unless it's FL, because that's a real fucking thing.
Right. You were asking the FL producer, like, how did you get it to sound like this? And he's like, I just literally put it I gridded it in.
I was like, really? Word. Because he couldn't export the stems the way like you did a great job, for example, and we were having a tough time doing that. But anyways, I'm really excited about these little moments.
Let's go.
It's cool. Okay, cool. It's actually the opposite, so I'm gonna turn this up, and there we go.
Don't say that you know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you know. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright, alright. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright, alright. Don't make me see right now, no, this is not the time or place. No, Eddie holding it together.
Sorry, I'll turn off that effect. I'm just kind of doing it for the choruses.
No, I like it on those. All right.
For the choruses, you mean?
Maybe not the first chorus, but I like in the second chorus and
Yeah.
shit for sure.
Yeah. It's cool.
25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright, alright. 25 minutes.
It'll be all... Like it was kind of...
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like no delays on anything but the.
All right. Yeah.
And then when it goes to the here, just play the hook real quick.
25
On.
minutes, but I'm waiting all
Off.
night. Breathe for a second,
Yeah.
you were acting uptight.
Because it really sounds when Soran is just like vibing on that one note and it delays on.
So you're thinking like,
25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night.
cool, and then we turn it off for all night.
That was sick.
Yeah. So it's like,
25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright.
yeah, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. For the second hook.
Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright.
What are you, for those, probably dry?
Yeah, I've got a pretty good amount of delays on there.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna try real quick.
Cool.
And if it's too much, we can just, whatever.
Be alright. Alright. Alright.
I'm not mad at that at all.
I like how it tails off too.
I'm gonna try to turn it down slightly, but
5 minutes, it'll be alright. 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 25.
cool. I'm gonna copy that over
Yep.
and see how that feels. Oh, is it the same length or is it different?
Fly that in.
Oh, I see. It
Fly
starts
that in,
right
Saul.
there. That's-
fly that in, guys.
Yeah.
25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright. Alright.
I think it might be too much there.
Yeah, sure.
Kind of like, let's dry it up and let those ones.
Be alright. Alright. Alright.
Cool. Cool. I'm gonna go into these synths because we haven't even really hit those.
Yeah. Those need to be, the whole purpose of those is like wide. So think like big width on that.
Width.
Yeah, width.
Cool.
On the, I think there's a stem called main synth and then main synth lower or something. Those two should be just ultra wide. And then the main synth lead should kind of still be like less wide, but like more in the center because it's the lead.
Yeah. I just put this this effect.
I love that chorus so much.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite ones.
I'm gonna try it here too. Would y'all ever like filter the bass out for a second and then have it come back in? Cause like check this out. Like just listen to this. Part of me wants to like add that in like the outro or something, like a filtered bass that's like super weird. I don't know.
That could be kind of fly. Do I have the bass in after the drums come out?
I don't think so.
Could be cool to put it in and have it low passed.
Yeah.
Or high pass.
I'm
sorry.
feeling like dreamy stuff, and I'm riffing, you know.
Dream, bro. Dream on. So now I'm adding some H3000, some like a micro pitch shift, getting it wider.
Yep, awesome.
Alright. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright.
But just for a second, I'm gonna make an all vocal group, and we're gonna ride up the vocals for the choruses, and just see how that feels. Cause I feel like we can make it grow a little bit more.
Yeah.
Chafeel?
Chafe. I think even like the slightest of increase in volume would make a big impact.
Totally. Like, let's check it out, like for the verse.
Right now, no, this is not the time or place. Not really holding it together. I just need some space. Yeah, I know.
There was one thing I heard super minor with the vocal delays at that one spot where at the end of the verse where we do that little I think you could cut them a little sooner.
Oh yeah, I still have that quarter delay going through the verse, and I did not mean to have it going, so that was my bad.
Then it's strizzy.
Yeah, let me just turn that off for right now.
Yep.
And then we'll have it coming in the chorus. Sorry about that.
No worries, dude.
Sorry about that.
And I'm gonna turn it off for the first
Minus
chorus too.
10 points for you.
Minus 10 points for Gryffindor. That's hilarious.
I can't read it out your lips if it's something you don't say, but you know, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you know. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you acting uptight. In 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you acting uptight. In 25 minutes, it'll be alright. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night.
All right, guys, we back on.
Back on the grid.
We had a power outage with this crazy weather.
Would have thought a little rain, man.
Crazy weather we're having.
Yep.
I think rain like hates studios or something.
Just yours, bro.
25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you acting uptight. In 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright. Don't make me see it right now, no, this is not the time or place. No, Eddie holding it together, I just need some space. Yeah, I know. No, I know. I got my own shit to figure out, baby. By the way, I can't read it out your lips if it's something you don't say, but you know. Yeah. Oh, you know. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you acting up.
So I think what it actually is, I'm gonna make the drums bigger for the choruses and make it groove harder instead of the vocals, because the vocals feel like one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right
I
now.
love the way the vocal.
And I think we actually just need to bring everything up, and maybe if the vocal comes up with that, that's cool. But
Yeah.
to me, it's like the drums.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there's already like, I think, a bunch of layers that come in and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a natural lift in the arrangement. It's all perfectly arranged.
25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you acting uptight. In 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you acting uptight. In 25
a little like
crunch
in the kick.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's hitting that. It's really, really pretty.
I'm cash now.
I honestly feel like there's not really much more to do.
I'm with you on that, dude. It's sounding
Yeah.
pretty icy.
I love how it's sounding.
Pretty maximum ice.
I think that kick was clipping a little bit, which happens when I'm feeling myself and boosting things up. And then I'm like, oh shit, it's happening. You know what I mean?
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah. It's the espresso talking. That's the espresso kick. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna listen through real quick. I just want to add like tiny little things, and I think we'll wrap it.
Cool. Kicked that in last minute. I was still hearing a little crunching in that last bit.
And that last little, it's because I automated that drum stuff, yeah.
No. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright, alright, alright. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. 25 minutes, it'll be 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. In 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright, alright. 25 minutes, but I'm waiting all night. Breathe for a second, you were acting uptight. In 25 minutes, it'll be alright. Alright, alright.
It's pretty fucking awesome, y'all.
Sounds so sick, dude. You bodied it.
It's feeling good.
Yeah.
It's feeling good. I think I want to sit with it and like finesse any little vocal tweaks, print it today, and like if there's any little moments where we need to cut dry or kind of like make those moments. I just wanted to get the main architecture done.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the whole thing. Besides, I mean, it's just about like listening tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like we've been listening for the past 4 hours, so it's like.
And
listening tomorrow being
sometimes like with me mixing, I have to like give myself a day to like sit with it, listen to it in different spaces, and then I'm like, oh, that's the moment where we should make something. Like I like to do my first mix is always like bare bones, and sometimes I don't even do those ear candy moments because it's like we just want to sit with it, get it in a great place, feel those vocals, connect, and then if all of us are like, oh, that's the moment,
Yeah, you'll be listening
then we
in the
know.
car.
You know what I
feeling
mean? Like if something's off.
There has to be something there.
So it's kind of like my first mix is the gut mix. And seeing,
Gut check.
with us in the room, it's kind of fun. Like usually I just send it to you guys and be like, what do you think?
Yeah.
I like,
Right.
that's why I love having the feedback. It's like a special thing.
No, it's a fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So fire.
There's really just those two vocal lines that get pitchy that are the only like vocal things that are really the only thing overall that is really like for sure we should touch later. But besides that, it sounds so fucking sick.
It's pretty much fucking done to
I
me.
think let's hit those later.
Yeah.
I think today, because the rain and everything, and I know we all have stuff we're excited about going to later. Let's call it a wraps. And I really just like want to say thanks for creating this, bringing me in, and Soran, we're sending lots of love.
You're gonna love it, buddy.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear your thoughts too. And like if we push things too far, I always tell people like, let me know how this is feeling, and if we overcooked, we can dial back or push further.
Definitely. Thank you for fucking stepping in and crushing it, dude. This
You went
is
crazy,
sick.
bro. You went crazy.
I feel like I just did very little, but the little is like that's what this song needed.
all you need.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So
A little goes a long way.
sometimes that's the sauce.
It's high IQ mixing.
Yeah. Well, guys, sending y'all love. Thank you for being a part of this.
Thanks for having us, bro.
Yeah. Keep crushing and making cool stuff. I'm always grateful to be a part of y'all's music.
Yes, sir. And likewise. And likewise.
Likewise.
Thank you everybody for Just for the Record for hosting this. If you're watching, for staying with us to the end. I hope you learned something, and we'll be doing more of these soon with different vibes, different tunes, different techniques. This was today's, and I hope you enjoyed. Sending y'all love. Thanks.